me today again. So this is session number 3 of the 8 stages of Erikson. Session number 3, so the first one, just a very quick recap. So we had trust versus mistrust. Then we had autonomy versus shame and doubt. And this stage is initiative versus guilt. And this is of course between the age of roughly 3 and 7 years old. Okay, so initiative versus guilt. First of all, one of the things that I normally say, just to make them aware of the difference that is between shame, which is this previous step, and guilt, which is in the step today. So shame is something that you feel you are, while guilt is something that you are told that you are doing wrong. Okay, so I feel guilty for having done something, and this is normally also connected with possibly people going to church or going to schools who have got like a very strong spiritual or religious sort of direction, because guilt is connected with something that is done which is morally wrong. Okay, so there should be somebody within the family or within the outside circle of the family, could be the first for example, the first teachers or in a nursery or the first years at schools, will actually tell you that what you are doing is wrong. And why this is so important, because of course from the stage of up to now, the stage of the age, I don't know, between up to the age of 3 and 4 years old, kids tend to imitate. In this stage here, which is initiative, kids start to think and do things by themselves, of course supported allegedly by the autonomy that they've learned in the previous stage. Now they should be able to start doing things, start having more muscles, and the body's got a different posture, so they actually start doing things by themselves. Of course, if instead they felt a very strong sense of shame during the previous stage, of course shame's easily then leads to the fact of actually feeling a sense of guilt. So I am wrong, and because I'm wrong, I'm also doing things which are bad and which are wrong. If in the previous stage the favorite word was no, now the favorite word is actually why. Kids start asking a lot of questions. They initiate activities that they feel that they've got like a conscience. They can make up some ideas by themselves, and they've got like a sense of sexuality in a broader sense, not just a physical thing. Of course, there is a sense of exploration, a sense of somehow freedom, and a sense of definite kind of identity. Of course, if on the other hand there is the guilt thing, we have this sense of unworthiness, because of course the child does something, or he believes that whatever he does, whatever especially he does that is self-initiated, his own thought processing, his own ideas, his own creativities, of course the child believes that this is wrong. If everything went through properly, of course in later age we can actually see that the child begins things and brings them to an end. You actually see the whole process. You can actually see the whole process through. Of course, in now at our own age, if we've got to go back and look of the stage, what we can work on is our sense of purpose. If you remember, I'm going to show you the again. Okay, so we have of course the sense of hope, the sense of willpower, and of course this time is the sense of purpose. So if we do have a sense of purpose, if we create a sense of purpose based on the willpower to change, which is based on the hope that we can have for a better future, the sense of purpose is what actually would drive us now in order to make sure that we are not guilty of the things that we do, and our sense of initiative with our sense of purpose can be actually carried on in the future. So we talked about sense of purpose and the differences in the reasoning and the why behind the things that we do. Remember I was telling before, the favorite word is the why. So I'm asking the people now, why are you doing the things? So what's your why? What's your reason behind your, for example, deciding to quit alcohol? Or I don't know, to quit your addiction or to change your life? What is the reason behind it? And if the reason is linked to people external, Of course, there is somehow an external locus of evaluation, an external sense of worthiness, which can then bring a strong sense of failure and frustration, because you're not doing things for yourself, but you're doing things for other people. Which is often linked to the reason why I don't like the 12 steps, because of course there is also a very externalized sense of needing to do things because somebody who's in higher power tells you to do and tells you how you should behave, instead of actually an internalized sense of I want to do this for myself because I value my life and I value my sense of worthiness. Of course, we could talk about the difference between the eight stages and the 12 steps forever. That could be actually, I always say, a good topic of another discussion. In order to explain the differences and the reasons behind what we do and why we do it, and especially the why, I always take as an example the TED Talk by Simon Sinek, who explain, the why behind things, and it makes a clear difference between, I don't know, Martin Luther King and I don't know, some other people who had maybe driving passion, but actually who don't see through whatever they are doing. At the same time, it makes the comparison between, I don't know, Microsoft and Apple, for example. I always give them a personal example in, for example, when I have quit smoking. What was my why behind quitting smoking? Okay, so if you are doing the things, if you're following through the things because of willpower, and they tell you that you should quit smoking because, which is horrible word, you should quit smoking because it is unhealthy, because it costs a lot of money. So it costs in health, it costs in money, and they tell you, all about things that go on with your lungs and everything, and your health and your sluggishness, and how much money you're spending, how much time you're wasting, and everything. And of course, then if you've got kids, because you're intoxicating your kids, you're smoking in the house, which is bad for you, bad for the image, bad for everything else. So if my reasoning behind quitting smoking, where I personally, Matilde, I quit smoking because I want a brighter skin, I want to taste better, I want to save some money, I don't want to intoxicate my lungs, and I don't know what else I can say. I want to smell nice, and I want my clothes to smell nice. Those are, as much as are valuable reasons, they're not reasons as such, i.e. they are not my reasons, because those are normal byproducts that happen to anybody who actually quits smoking. Anybody who will quit smoking will smell better, will have a better skin, will have a cleaner mouth, will taste better, will sleep better, will feel better, everything. And will get more, will earn, will save more money. That happens to everybody who quits smoking. But it's not the reasons behind, the real reason behind my quitting, which is the why and the purpose that sustains me from within, which is, in my case, to be totally free. So as you can see, the fact of being totally free is not connected only to the quitting smoking of the cigarettes, but it changes a whole thing in life. I want to be free, I don't want to feel dependent, I want to be an individual, I want to be recognized for my own individuality, which means that I not only quit smoking, but I can decide to change a certain group of people, certain group of friends. I'm taking, of course, this to an extreme. Change my job, I don't know, I want just to be free. So there is a whole change within the person. So when you are thinking about and talking and planning about your purpose in life, you got to think about your purpose in the real reason, which is unique to you as a person, your reason behind your quitting, your changing, your changing your patterns, your self-development, your self-study, your whatever you're actually doing. There has to be a reason which is specific to you as a person. Of course, because we are social animals, the purpose on the long run has to impact in a positive way onto society, which means my reason and the purpose in life, for my life, is actually to be free, but also to pass on my lessons, to pass on my message, because in this way I can actually help society, and I can actually help somebody. Maybe, I don't know, in this moment I'm talking to you. I don't know who you are, but I mean, you know who you are. I'm talking to you and I'm giving you a message, and my message in this very moment might actually switch something in you. You might have like a penny dropping, or you actually realize certain things about yourself that you wouldn't have done it otherwise. So this is the whole purpose when it's connected with society. So my sense of freedom also impacts of me doing, for example, this in this moment for you. So this was session number 3, which was of course extremely interesting. Next week it's going to be industry versus inferiority. What happens during this session is that, of course, we are going to talk about the stage, but also there are going to be normal people getting into the group. So whoever is at the end of session 4, so next week, we're going to also stay in for the following 4 sessions until the end. I think I have told you everything about the session. I'm actually always, of course, very happy. It's been an intense session, especially in explaining, the thing about purpose and why, and trying to explain to them about what Simon Sinek says. And of course, I will put, as usual, the link under the video and on my website. Don't forget to follow, to share, to be happy, and I will speak to you very shortly. Bye.